Hello, all. You may have seen in the news today that there has been a vote in the U.S. Senate regarding a amendment to a bill that will prevent torture being applied as a means of getting information out of enemies or terrorists and that sort of thing. I've got a list here of the 21 senators who voted for torture. They wanted to keep torture as a useful tool for folks in the CIA and the military. And I just wanted to highlight the names of these patriotic Americans who would like the United States to be practicing torture. So here are these illustrious patriotic senators. Three guesses of their party affiliation. Every one is, of course, a Republican. Here we go. Senator Barrasso, Wyoming. Senator Blunt, Missouri. Senator Coates, Indiana. Senator Cochran, Mississippi. Senator Cornyn, Texas. Cotton, Arizona. Crapo, Idaho. Ernst, Iowa. Fisher, Nebraska. Graham, South Carolina. Hatch, Utah. Inhofe, Oklahoma. Langford, Oklahoma. Lee, Utah. McConnell, of course, Kentucky. Risch, Idaho. Roberts, Kansas. Rubio skipped the vote. Sass, Nebraska. Scott, South Carolina. Sessions, Alabama. And Vitter, Louisiana. So 21 Republicans, and of course Mr. Rubio, who is a potential presidential candidate, skipped the vote. Well, it's just quite striking to me that we like to think of America as a country that champions human rights more than any other country. And there was a great deal of self-righteousness in terms of American behavior during World War II when we compared ourselves to the Nazis and the Japanese. And there was an implication that Americans hold themselves to a higher standard, and the Europeans as well, other Europeans outside of Germany, and that we wouldn't tolerate these kinds of atrocities being applied, regardless of the dangers of war or the fears that can arise through potential terrorist attacks. The great danger is that when fear escalates to the point where you're willing to sacrifice all of your rights. And we see this happening in a number of ways in terms of privacy and that sort of thing. But here, the case is torture, torturing other human beings. Is it acceptable to torture other human beings? 21 Republican senators think it is acceptable to torture other human beings. Thankfully, despite the fact Senator McCain is Republican, he had personal experience being tortured by a foreign military. So he knows. And so thankfully he sponsored this amendment and got this bill through. And thankfully 70-odd senators voted for it. But I just think it's really scary, sad. It's a very pathetic development within the Republican Party that 21 Republican senators would like torture to be one of the means that we keep in the American toolbox. I think it's really terrifying, and I'm hopeful that we'll see a positive response out of the House. House has become so right-wing, they're likely not to get this through, but at least within the Senate, over 70 senators voted for this amendment. So I guess there's some hope. Anyway, just wanted to voice some thoughts on torture. Should the United States torture people? Let me know what you think. Thanks.